Welcome to Charter Local Edition. My name is Brad Pomerance in Sacramento. Today we are joined by Freddie Rodriguez. He is a member of the California State Assembly, but you may not know, he is also an EMT, an emergency medical technician. In other words, he's that guy who goes out on emergency calls and keeps you alive. And you're still doing that, sir.
Yes, I still do it part-time. I was able to be able to work part-time while I serve in the legislature. So I work about 8 to 10 shifts a year.
That's fantastic. Yeah. It must kind of keep you alive in a lot of ways. It keeps you close.
It really does, and it keeps me more grounded with the folks down in the district and what we do as an EMS provider.
Right, and what's nice is since you've been in the Assembly, you were put on certain committees where your expertise comes in good use. You're on the Select Committee. You chair the Select Committee on Local Emergency Preparedness, the Joint Legislative Committee on Emergency Management, so you're putting your skills to good use.
Yeah, I figured, over 30 years that experience, I think, and the fact that I still do it, right, so I'm really well-grounded and really know the issues that face here in California.
Let's talk about our high school students. I have a daughter who's about to head into high school, and they're very active in sports, and we've heard of tragic, rare but tragic stories of high school athletes who will have a cardiac incident. And if someone had only been there to give them CPR, that student may have survived. Some have died.
Yes, and because of that, several of those have occurred here in the state, and that's why I'm looking at a bill to teach compression-only CPR in high schools. I mean, it's very easy to learn. All you're doing is compressing on someone's chest.
Please explain that to me. I mean, you say it's easy, but I don't understand how this saves a life. Explain to me, sir.
Well, as CPR has evolved for many years with the mouth-to-mouth, now they make it more easier, layperson-friendly, so to speak, where if you can learn how to press on someone's chest with the right amount of pressure, all you're doing is pressing that heart. Your heart is like a pump that's circulating the blood. And if you can do that, the chances of survival are very high for someone.
And through the ribs, the heart will feel that pressure?
Yes, it's really in the middle of your chest. It's called the sternum. It's a sturdy bone, right? That's right next to the heart. And as you're pressing, all you're compressing is the heart, because the heart is like a pump.
Truly.
It's a big muscle, right?
Truly.
So if you can get that muscle to compress and circulate that blood that's still in there, before the first responders get there, the chances of survival are very high.
Yeah, I learned from you, sir, that if someone has a cardiac incident, their chance of survival without intervention within the first 5 minutes, about 10%.
Yeah, they're saying within 4 to 6 minutes, if you can get to somebody on time, anything after that, the chances are very low for survivability.
It is amazing that life is so precious that you essentially have 5 minutes. I mean, that's the number, 5 minutes. You don't intervene in 5 minutes, the prognosis is not good. But what if there is someone who is able to offer CPR? What happens then? Does the survival rate increase?
It increases
exponentially.
Because figure somebody passes, whether it's at the school, at a mall, at a store, and somebody passes by and notices those are the signs of cardiac arrest, they start compression only, call 911. You start the survival link, right?
Right.
And it's very quickly.
I was surprised to learn that only 32% of cardiac arrest victims have a bystander there that will provide CPR, not because they don't want to, there's just a lack of knowledge. Yeah.
And with my bill, we're looking to create a new generation of lifesavers in the state of California. Not only that, though, then maybe some of these folks may be interested in that healthcare-related field, as a doctor, a nurse, and so forth.
Or an EMT.
Right? Or an EMT, right?
Give us a sense of how your bill is fashioned.
Well, its fashion was very simple, like I said. We're giving school districts the flexibility how to teach it, because nowadays you can just pop in a video for like 20 minutes, and that'll just teach a student, a person, how to compress on someone's chest. And what you're doing is just circulating that blood in that heart.
It's that simple?
I
admit I'm a little intimidated by it, but it really isn't rocket science, I guess you could say.
No, it's not.
And so you anticipate that should the bill survive, how's the bill doing? Is it moving?
It's doing good. It's moving so far so good. Got it out of appropriations.
Great.
So it's moving along, and I'm hoping that it get it to the governor and he can sign it.
Sure. I guess 32 states have it in place now, something similar to your bill. A few districts have it in place as well. So this, again, it's not a full course. It's 20, 30 minutes. It's not going to impinge on studies, and it could save a life.
Yeah, and the fact that 30 other states already do it, except California.
Right.
Okay, it's our time to jump on board and also teach folks how to do CPR.
I want to talk about saving a life in the incident, in case there is a catastrophic event in our state. And sadly, it's probably going to happen. I mean, we are an earthquake central, and I want to get a sense from you about what you're looking to do to help in the sense of a catastrophe. Where do we go from here?
Well, with that, I don't know if you're aware, but years ago, I was one of the first responders of the hurricanes, Rita and Katrina in Louisiana. And I looked at the issues that state faced when they thought they were able to respond to an emergency, a disaster of that magnitude.
Could we digress for a second?
Yeah.
Tell me about Katrina. Like you said, you were a first responder. What did you see, and what did you learn from it that you have brought back to Sacramento?
Well, what I seen was the total devastation that occurred in that state. And second of all, that the state thought they were well prepared for an emergency of that magnitude. They weren't. Obviously, you heard and look at all the stories. I was probably there the first week after the first hurricane, and it was a total devastation.
Right.
Everybody was running around. Nobody knew what to do. The programs they had in place were overwhelmed because they were never faced with this type of situation. Bringing that experience, what I learned over there, that we can never be prepared enough.
Right. So what do we take away then? Because in the wake of Katrina, in the wake of the superstorm Sandy, it seems as if with each disaster we're learning little lessons, but are we implementing what we're learning? I don't know. I'm a little skeptical.
Yeah, and that's when I came up to the legislature,
Right.
as I start to find out that the state has 3 mobile field hospitals that were purchased several years ago. But to my...
Tell me what a mobile field hospital is. I was not aware of how significant these units are.
Well, mobile field hospital is basically a hospital that's mobile. It has everything, all the components in it, from operating suites to pharmacies to all the special x-ray equipment that you have.
Each hospital...
Each mobile field hospital, and the fact that they have the capacity to treat 200
Right.
patients.
When I heard mobile field hospital, I thought, oh, you got 4 or 5 people in a corner.
No.
It's a room. It's a pump-up tent. No. These are huge facilities that are literally equipped to save lives, and many of them.
Yes, they are. And the fact they're self-contained, they even have a cafeteria, they have their own medicine, they have all the equipment needed to treat people.
So what we've learned is that in 2006, in the wake of Katrina, California allocated money, one-time monies, to get these hospitals in place, to equip these hospitals. But with the onset of the recession earlier in this decade, the funds that are needed to continue operation of the hospitals or maintenance of the hospitals has gone by the wayside?
Has gone by the wayside. When I found out we had these, and I went to go tour them, when they're here close by Mather Field, they're pretty much staying in a warehouse, deteriorating. And I'm like, okay, we have these, and we're not using them. Because the fact is, well, we never had that disaster, right? So where do we need them? But I look at it, Brad, as an insurance policy. We have these, let's get them funded, let's get them up and moving. I think that they should be strategically placed in 3 different parts throughout California.
And so right now, you are looking for a $2 million appropriation, not billion dollar, $2 million. Now that's a lot of money to you and me, but in the scope of a budget of $150 billion, whatever it may be, 170, that's nothing.
Yeah, and the money is to hopefully get all 3 of them in different parts of the state, and the fact that they carry medication, right? So you got to make sure that medication doesn't expire.
Right.
And
antibiotics expire.
Exactly.
Right.
So all that, they're ready to go, and they can be up within 72 hours once they get activated and people get out there.
So how's the bill moving? It's
moving as well. Got it out of appropriations as well. So far so good.
And the governor?
You know, the governor's also looking at it. I think he's put some money aside in his budget. But I'm willing to do whatever I can to get these up and running, because the fact they're greatly needed. Because hopefully we never need them.
Oh,
but if
well
stated. We do, right?
No, but I hear your point.
But if we do, hey, they're up and ready to go. Because when I was in Louisiana, they thought they were ready.
And they weren't.
Here, and then I look back, and one thing that really got to me, Brad, before I left, I was there for almost a month in Louisiana. They said, Freddie, we'll see you back in California when you guys have your earthquake. We're going to come and help you.
Oh, it's kind.
That's always stayed in
That's
the back of
special.
my mind.
His name is Freddie Rodriguez, member of the California State Assembly. I'm Brad Pomerance in Sacramento, Charter Local Edition.